This speech is titled Why Firefighters Deserve Higher Pay and Increased Funding. And the purpose of this statement is the purpose of this speech is to persuade my audience that firefighters are underpaid and that increased funding and compensation is necessary to ensure public safety and workforce sustainability. Firefighters deserve higher pay and increased funding because of the dangerous nature of their work, the growing demands of the profession, and the negative consequences of underfunding on public safety. When a fire alarm sounds, firefighters don't hesitate, they run towards the danger, risking their lives for people they have never met. Every person in this room depends on firefighters, whether for emergency response, medical assistance, or disaster relief, making their effectiveness directly tied to our safety. Through research in public safety and emergency services, I have examined firefighter responsibilities, compensation trends, and staffing challenges across the United States. Firefighters deserve higher pay, increased funding because of the dangerous nature of their work, the growing demands of the profession, and the risk underfunding creates for communities. First, I will explain the dangers and responsibilities firefighters face. Second, I will discuss how compensation does not match those demands. And then third, I will show how underfunding negatively impacts public safety and address the opposing viewpoints. Firefighting is one of the most dangerous and demanding professions. Firefighters face constant life-threatening risk. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, firefighters are regularly exposed to extreme heat, collapsing structures, and hazardous materials. The National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, or OSHA, or NIOSH, reports increased risk of cancer and long-term health issues due to repeated exposures to toxic environments. Firefighters perform far more than fire suppression. Firefighters also handle rescues, hazardous materials, incident response, and disaster response, requiring a wide range of specialized skills. The National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, states that most emergency calls today are medical related rather than fire. Despite these dangers and responsibilities, firefighter compensation does not reflect the demand of the job. Firefighters are often underpaid compared to the risk and expectations of the profession. Firefighter salaries do not match the job risk and workload. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, reports that the median annual wage for firefighters is significantly lower than other high-risk professions. Many firefighters work extended shifts, often 24 hours or longer, which increases physical and mental strain without proportional compensation. And the low pay contributes to recruitment and retention issues. According to the International Association of Firefighters, or the IAFF, departments across the country are struggling to recruit and retain qualified personnel. Lower wages and high stress lead to burnout and early career exits, reducing workforce stability. Some may argue that budgets are limited, but underfunding the fire service creates even greater risk for communities. Underfunding the fire department negatively impacts public safety despite opposing arguments. Budget limitations are often cited as a reason not to increase firefighter pay. Critics argue that municipalities cannot afford higher salaries due to limited tax revenue and competing public service needs. However, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, emphasizes that adequate funding is essential for emergency preparedness and response effectiveness. Increased funding improves emergency response and community outcomes. The National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, reports that properly staffed departments respond faster and reduce fire-related deaths and property damage. Investing in firefighters reduces long-term costs by preventing larger disasters and improving survival rates. When we consider the risk, responsibilities, and consequences, it becomes clear that change is necessary. Firefighters face dangerous working conditions, receive compensation that does not reflect their responsibilities, and operate in departments that are often underfunded. For these reasons, firefighters deserve higher pay and increased funding to ensure both their well-being and the safety of the communities they serve. As members of our communities, we must support policies and funding decisions that prioritize firefighter compensation and resources, because when firefighters are supported everyone is safer. Anyhow.